GST or Goods and Services Tax, which is also known as VAT, or the Value Added Tax, in many countries. It is a consumption-based tax charged on all taxable supply of goods. GST is imposed at each level of the supply chain. The tax element does not become part of the product because GST paid on the business inputs is claimable. Hence, it does not matter how many stages where a particular good and service goes through the supply chain, because the input tax incurred at the previous stage is always deducted by the businesses at the next in the supply chain. GST is to be levied and charged at the proposed rate of 6% on the value of the supply. GST can be levied and charged only if the business is registered under GST. GST is a better and fairer tax system compared to sales and service tax, as GST will lower business cost, increase global competitiveness, enhance compliance, reduces red tape, equity, fair pricing to consumers, greater transparency. How does the GST works? Manufacturer sells to wholesaler at selling price of 1,000, with GST tax of 6%. Total selling price inclusive tax is 1,060. Manufacturer handovers GST collected to government. Wholesaler sells to retailer at 3,000 with GST tax of 6%. Total price inclusive of tax is 3,180. Wholesaler handovers GST collected to government. Wholesaler claims back GST amount paid to manufacturer from the government. Retailer sells to consumer at price 5,000 with GST tax of 6% of the total selling price inclusive of tax is 5,300. Retailer handovers GST collected to government. Retailer claims back GST paid to wholesaler. Consumer cannot claim back GST paid. Consumer bear final GST. There are three types of GST: standard rated, zero rated, exempted. Standard rated supplies are taxable supplies of goods and services which are subject to a proposed rate of 6%. A taxable person who is registered under GST has to collect GST on the supply and is eligible to claim input tax credit on his business inputs in making taxable supplies. Industries which comes under standard rated are furniture, utensils, repair services, hotels, footwears, dresses. Zero rated supplies are taxable supplies of goods and services which are subject to GST at 0% rate. In this respect, businesses do not collect any GST on their supplies but are entitled to claim credit on inputs used in the course of furtherance of the business. Industries that comes under zero rated are infant milk, export goods and services, water for domestic use, electricity of 300 units a month, raw food products like meat, eggs, vegetables, and oil. Exempt supplies are supplies of goods or services which are not subject to GST. In this context, businesses do not collect any GST on their supplies and are not entitled to claim credit on his business inputs. Industries which comes under exempted are private hospitals, health and education services, bus transportation, water transportation, rail transportation, taxis, residential houses, and lands for public use. For more details please visit www.hiaccounts.com.